welcome to Our Stitching Chronicles, the craft podcast where every stitch tells a story.
We're your hosts. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Kendall. We are here to chat, stitch and explore the stories behind our craft projects.
So grab your yarn, find a comfy spot and knit along with us as we share project stories and hopefully a few laughs along the way.
Let's cast on chapter 13 of Our Stitching Chronicles.
Yay! All right.
Well, I am in a finished object, so you go first. What are you wearing?
I was in a finished object, but
It's a bit warm.
I'm melting. I don't know how you were wearing that.
I'm committed.
Yeah, you've committed. Thankfully I'm home. I can change. So I did. My finished object, I have finally, after 5 long months.
Tell us what you're wearing.
Oh, crap.
She's excited about her finished object, clearly. What are you wearing first? And then we'll get to finished objects.
Yes, okay. So I changed into my Sundazed tank top by Kutova Kika. It is from the Knits to Wear book. I made some alterations to this because I didn't like the way that the sleeves sit. So I reckon it was one of our very first videos after Fibre Feast 2025, coming up soon. I talked to you guys about how I didn't like how it sat. So it kind of came in quite far. So I have added on a ribbing under the armholes. I think I picked up too few stitches. So it does sit quite up tight up under my arms, but that's okay. So that's my Sunday's top. I knit it in
Pima cotton?
Yes, by Juniper Moon Farm. So the Pina Cotton by Juniper Moon Farm, and I think the colourway was called Merlot.
Yeah.
It's not my favourite top. It's not my least favourite top.
But it's a summer option.
I think it is a summer option. I think I don't like the yarn.
Okay.
How it just looks a little worn. And I think as well, I wasn't very good at weaving in ends back then. So I have all these little ends that stick out up here. So there's just a few little faults on it that I don't love, but I don't hate it enough to frog it. And I do still wear it from time to time.
No, it's great.
So that's what I'm wearing.
I am wearing a finished object. Yay!
So exciting.
Let me just put my tea down for a second. So also from the Knits to Wear book by Kutova Kika. It might feature heavily in this episode. So this is the Coffee Run Sweater by Kutova Kika. I used Drops Flora in the bright red or the hot red, and then the Drops Kid Silk in the matching colour to that. Sarah and I were just doing the yarn maths on it, and it did not use much yarn at all. I don't know if you found that or what yours was for your coffee run. Sarah made one towards the end of last year. I saw a couple of other people had made one. I was like, I've got to be part of this party. So bought the Knits to Wear book, made it up. And I have been wanting a bright red jumper. So I'm excited for this one as we move into autumn to have like a crispy autumn jumper. Let me grab my phone though, because I will tell you how much yarn I used. So the Flora is a floor The Flora is a 4-ply merino, and I used 764 meters of that. I think I knit the second size. I probably could have gone to the third for a bit more ease, but here we are. I haven't blocked it yet. The ends haven't been woven in. I should say that, full disclaimer.
We don't judge.
We listen and we don't judge.
That's it.
And then the Kid Silk, it used 697 meters.
That's insane.
So pretty good. I could have gone longer, but overall pretty happy with it. I don't think I'd use this combo of Flora with the Kid Silk. The Flora was fine. The Kid Silk, one of the balls had a couple of flaws in it, and I probably should have chopped it and like joined ends, but I didn't. And so there's a couple over here that have little like white patches. Which Sarah was just trying to pull out because she thought it was fluff. I'm like, no, it's a flaw in the yarn.
But there's more. I thought it was just that one.
There's a couple others, yeah. So I probably just need to go and do like a duplicate red stitch over the top so it's less obvious, or pull it from the other side with a crochet hook. So that's my only thing. It was only one ball that was affected. So
I've never had that.
Yeah.
And I've used it a bit.
Yeah, I've been using it on the Arctic Light and haven't had that happen yet either. So I don't know if it was just like one ball or if it's because of the like intense colour, it's more noticeable when it doesn't quite take because it's like white in colour rather than red. So I don't know, but that was kind of the only issue I had with the yarn. It is a little bit itchy, but I'm wearing a t-shirt underneath and it's fine.
Yeah.
And as I said, I haven't washed it, blocked it or weaved in ends, so that might also help.
I do think it does soften
a
little bit when blocking. So I wore my gallant mohair to work the other day.
Yeah.
A little around my neck when I got hot.
Yeah.
But otherwise, and I only had a tank top underneath.
Yeah.
And that was, I was fine. But
So,
maybe I'm not as sensitive.
No, if you watch me during this episode, just kind of like pull the shirt up. I'm feeling itchy. I picked up extra stitches at the underarm on both sides from a couple of Kutova Kika's other patterns. I just didn't see it kind of being quite roomy enough. So I picked up a couple of extra stitches. I probably should have immediately decreased back because it's probably a little bit like wrinkly. And I just did more decreases so I got back to what it was supposed to be down here. What I really enjoyed about the sleeves is I wasn't like, they need to be exactly the same. I just kind of went with the process and like, oh, I need to do a decrease round. It's probably been, 3 rows overdue. Nah,
I love that.
I'll even out. And they're the same length. Like I made sure they were the same length. I did the same rows, but I was like, if a decrease is slightly off by a row or two, it will be okay.
Yeah. I've started using the safety pins. Like the little
and I
lightning
could have
bolt.
done that, but I just couldn't be bothered.
No, that's fair
Last minute, I did a split hem, which I am really
Yes.
enjoying. I'm just glad it's not clingy at the bottom.
Do you want to stand
other
up and show us the split hem?
I will in a moment.
Okay.
The other thing I did is, the stitch markers we got at last year's Fibre Feast
Yes.
that are numbered.
Yes.
In Kutova Kika's pattern writing, she refers to them all as like increase 1, increase 2, increase 3. And so I used my numbered ones and it was like a game changer. I knew where I was at. I knew what I had to do. It was like pattern writing matching to the stitch markers.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
Because
it was
I really struggled with that with one of her last
Yeah,
patterns. Mind you,
yeah.
I don't have enough stitch markers to do it because she had 16 in that one.
Yeah.
But still, oh my gosh, genius.
Yeah. So you just used them with others, and if it was increase 1, it had a 1. And then, it made the increases at the top so great. It's very similar to my matcha. Similar fit, similar yarn, I guess, really. Like it was the Chaska for the matcha, but
Yeah.
it's the mohair and the
4-player.
4-ply. The split hem.
Let's see this split hem.
Don't mind the ends.
That's so good.
It just means no mushroomy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and so the coffee run has this beautiful like ribbing decrease down the side
I love
that
it.
carries from the top here. And then I really love the neckline. You cast. Sometimes I get annoyed when you have to cast on the neckline first, but like the finished project where you haven't had to pick up the stitches for the neckline, it's just like
Seamless.
Yeah. So
It's beautiful.
big fan.
It looks so good on you. I know that you mentioned in a message that you wished you'd gone for a little bit more positive ease.
Yeah.
But I think it fits you so well. It's very flattering.
Thank you. And we could still block it and get a bit more. So
Yeah. Look, I actually don't think the Flora blocks that much.
well, yeah, I think it's like the Chaska, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm okay if it doesn't grow too much. Like
it's non-superwash, so
Yeah.
it won't have that much. But still, might have a little bit.
I can make another one.
That's exciting. You're going to make another one?
Maybe. I've been eyeing off the knitted sweater that Taylor Swift wears in one of her behind the scenes film clip. And it's just like a grey baggy knit, like really basic knit. I was like, could work. But then there's so many other like basic sweater patterns that I'm like, maybe I'll just do one of them in that grey colour. I don't know.
That's my thing.
But like
Why I don't re-knit.
this is like this is not much yarn at all.
I know. And it's almost like because it is so little, you could almost get away with using just like a really premium yarn.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibilities, guys.
So that I feel like I've just spoken for a long time, but I don't have much else to say.
My
Matching fabric garment,
first finished object for the month
also in Flora and Kit Silk,
is,
also from Knits to Wear by Kutova Kika.
yes,
What can
It
it
is
be?
from the Kutova Kika. I knit it in Drops Flora in light grey and Kid Silk in Moonshine, I think it's called. 5 months and 1 day, and I have finally finished
Woohoo! It's amazing.
my sweetheart.
So good.
Now, I was wearing this. I got a bit too hot, so
To be fair,
unfortunately, I'm not wearing it anymore.
yours is the double. That is extra warmth in the collar than mine is.
Yeah, I might put it on though, just to show you guys. I have not blocked this, and I haven't woven in the ends. Actually, not true. The body has been blocked. This has been blocked because I blocked it to see the length. Still backfired because I have questions that I would like you guys to maybe help me answer. Kendall and I have discussed. So this is my Sweetheart jumper by Kutova Kika. I've told you what yarn I used. I knit it on the recommended needle size, which I think was 4.5 millimeter. I did not do a gauge swatch. I knit it in my normal medium size. The difference between mine and her pattern was she suggested 2 lace weights and a 4-ply. I held 1 4-ply and a lace weight. My gauge is usually way off of her gauge, like I'm much looser knitted to her. But I think I might have been closer to accurate this time because it is a little tighter than I would normally.
So the problem is not your tension, it's the yarn you're using.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, I'm going to have to let
I
squat
know.
down.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I'm at the gym again doing squats. So it does sit a little short. We'll insert the footage because I can't get it to work. So it is a little shorter than I would like. Not by much, just a fraction. But I think the issue more comes from the fact that for the first time ever,
In any of her patterns.
she told me to do just a regular knit bind off, you know, where you knit and then you pull it over. And so I did that, and I did it loosely because I was like, well, it is a hem. There is no movement in this, and so it sits really tightly around my waist, and so I feel like it doesn't sit quite right down the bottom. So I'm thinking of undoing it just because it is a knit over. I think it'll be easier than the Italian bind off to undo. And I have so much leftover yarn. Can I just show you this? So I mentioned this in the last chapter. She told me to buy 4,000 meters.
4 kilometers.
4 kilometers.
4 kilometers.
Can't remember what that is in yards.
It's over a mile.
Over a mile of 4-ply and 2,000 meters, 2 kilometers of lace weight. I bought 1,200 meters of both. 1,200 meters of both. And this is what I have left over. So this is the Flora. This is the Kid Silk.
Oh, hang on.
That's our new thing. I used under 800 meters of this. I think it was like 780 meters, 780 something of this. And I used 700 or 800 and something meters of this.
Like comparatively fairly similar to this. Like 20 to 50 meters more of each.
Close.
Yeah. Wild.
She told me to
How
use
do you get it that wrong?
4,000. Like, right? Like, that's not a little bit wrong. I can understand if it was like, oh, you need 1,000 meters or 1,200 meters and I only used 800. Okay, yeah, whatever.
We love it.
I mean,
we love it.
She said 4,000 because you're holding this stuff. Sorry, it was 4,000 of this. 4,000 of the mohair because you're holding it double. So 2,000 corrected for what I did. 2,000 meters and I use less than 800. So just keep that in mind if you're knitting this.
Yeah. Yep. Or be fairly okay with you're going to be able to make 2.
Yes. Now I did fold over. The pattern says to fold it over. I did do it. I am debating whether or not I want to put an elastic in there. So far it's sitting okay, but I don't know if it stretches. I might put an elastic in there. But I love it. I love
beautiful.
the sleeves. Like, which way am I going? This way?
Yeah.
I love the fit of the sleeves. I love how they sit, how they feel. I love this. I mean, I I actually like the way it feels on my skin, which is surprising. Like on my arms, it feels really soft.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling like.
A little
Like
scratchy
I
around
think
here.
the lacework and the cables actually work really well with this because, like, if you feel mine, that's the same fabric, but just it has a different texture.
Mine feels so light.
So light.
Yours feels a little more dense.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful still, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just the difference, like the different textures bring to how the finished product feels.
And so that is my sweetheart. 5 months, 1 day worth of knitting. By the time I was like at this portion of the body, I'd basically memorized the pattern repeat.
Yeah.
And so the sleeves,
easy.
I didn't really look at the pattern at all to do the sleeves, which was really good. I just had to remember when I did the decreases. And yes,
Beautiful.
that's all I have to say about it though. I think I've talked about it a bit.
You said that was 5 months and 1 day. Is it annoying that you couldn't get it like down to 5 months exactly?
I think my issue with this, and I said to Kendall, I don't have much to show, but I have a lot to talk about this chapter because I have opinions. And one of my opinions, I think I said in my goals, is that I want to work on more like detailed.
Yeah.
I want more interesting. I don't like it. I don't hate it.
Like you
And I
don't like the
love
process of doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't hate the process and I love the finished product. I am very much a boring stockinette in the round kind of gal. I didn't like I guess like I come home from work and I knit, or uni, but work now. I come home and I knit and I just want to switch off and I don't want to think about like things too hard. And sometimes the pattern repeats get really, this is so ironic, get really boring. So like I think I said in the last podcast, I could only really do like 1 repeat and then I'd be bored and have to work on something else. Maybe 2. It gets very repetitive, which is ironic that I say I love basic stockinette when that is the epitome of boring and repetitive.
But it's a different, exactly. It's like when you can just flow and you can talk and you can watch and you can keep doing things, but your hands are busy.
Yes.
Whereas when you get a pattern repeat, it's boring enough that you can do it, but you've still got to think about it.
I do.
And so you can't do some of those other things you can when it's just normal stockinette.
And there were a couple of times where I was really tired and I made some really silly mistakes. And it's really hard fixing with lace a mistake. So like there's a few, like in these V's, there's a few where I've, the very first one, I've missed the yarn over to create the hole.
But I also think lace is very forgiving.
So forgiving, yeah.
Because no one is up close looking.
I have a fair few mistakes and you can't see them. No. Which is why a lot of them I just went, I'm not fixing it.
Because it's like art. When you look at the whole artwork, you see the whole picture.
Yeah.
You're not looking for that tiny little like green fleck of paint that made it there on accident.
So I will continue to chuck in the odd, but I think part of my issue is I had the love letter.
Yes.
I've got a cardigan, like a wrap that's just back and forth rather than in the round. Like I don't have, it's just, I don't know. I'm in a weird space with my knitting right now.
You might need to change your goal.
And that's the beautiful thing about goals. We can change them. Or maybe I just need to get over this funk. I feel like I've been working on the same things for so long.
Well, like what month was 5 months ago? Is this like October? Is this when you cast it on?
I think I started it in September.
Yeah. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And yes, knitting is slow, and it should be slow. But it's a long time to be working on the same pattern repeat.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just one of my opinions as we continue through this
Was this
chapter.
Did I cast this on around Christmas?
Yeah.
So I want to check. I didn't actually see how long it took. So
Pretty sure it was Christmas, New Year's
6
time.
weeks?
Yeah, not long.
Yeah, not long.
And that's normally how long my knits can take.
Yeah.
And I think that's
compare those two.
Maybe I'm not a process knitter. I always thought I want to enjoy the process.
No, you are, but it just depends on it.
I feel like I also need quick wins from time to time, and I think that's my issue.
Yes.
And I have socks, which you would think would be quick wins, but they're not because I'm not working on them really.
Neither. Have I picked up my socks since last time? Nope.
No.
Because it has a pattern. It has an intricate, detailed pattern, so I can't just pick it up and go.
Mine doesn't even. I can pick it up and go.
Is this your Soroto?
Yeah, I think it's like it's the fiddly and I don't know.
We'll get there. You had a lot of whips. You needed some wins.
I do. I need to whittle down my whips. I have been so disciplined as we move into whips.
Good segue.
I know.
Look at what you did there.
Love that. I have been so disciplined with my whips though.
Well done.
So my husband, I promised him I'd knit him a jumper, the Viking one. The
Yes.
3 sorts by the Viking Knits. And
Oh, it doesn't mean she hasn't cast anything on. She's just been disciplined with what she's cast
I
on.
haven't cast anything on.
You did.
No.
You did cast this on.
Twice.
Yeah.
Unravelled it
Yeah,
twice.
but you still cast it on, didn't you?
Yeah, that's true. So, but I said, he kept saying, oh, when are you starting my jumper? When are you starting my jumper? And I was like, when I finish this, I'm casting on yours. When I finish another whip that I'm about to show you, then I can cast on the next project that I will be talking about today. So I have been really disciplined, and I'm very proud of myself for that. Because even though the boredom is there and the desire to just cast on new things is there, I'm reminded of the anxiety that I had when I had so many whips. And so I've been really good. Anyway, I've talked too long. We're on to whips.
We're on to whips.
How many do you
We've done
have?
whips. So I have the Reading Nook socks, which I just said. I have not made any progress on them. I've been writing down in my diary like what I've worked on every day, and then I have a tally at the end. I might insert that over here if I feel like it. Predominantly worked on this since we last filmed, with a little bit of the book club pullover featuring. So they've been my 2 main whips.
Yeah.
Haven't touched the Arctic Light. That's my only other one I've got going. So
Yeah.
letting you catch up. So really I've worked on this, which is now finished, and my book club pullover.
Yeah.
So
Well, I've got 2 whips to show.
okay.
So
Do you want to go
maybe
with one?
I'll go first,
with
then
one.
you go, and
then
then
you go
I'll
with one.
finish. Okay. So I have also spent most of my time working on this. So the progress that I have to show on my only other 2 whips that I'm showing is minimal, and I won't spend much time on it. So we really will zoom through this section. The first one. Yeah, I know, I do. I talk too much. I was looking at that when I was editing. I was like, you talk about your projects in like 2 minutes or under. Oh, no. You just got your tea on your hair. Oops.
Didn't get the jumper though.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did. Oh, I really did.
Oh, no. Do you need
Fine.
something?
I haven't washed it yet, so I'm
Oh,
totally
that's
fine.
true. That's handy.
And it's almond milk, so
yeah.
it'll be fine.
Yep. What was I saying?
I usually talk. I don't say enough.
You say like 2 to 3 minutes, and but you say everything you need to say.
Later on I'm like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Okay. Meanwhile, I tell a whole story and
I love it. I'm here for the
backstory.
stories. I'm here for the stories.
10 minutes later, and I finally show the garment.
It's a good balance.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't know what's funnier, this whole thing or like I literally just spilled tea down my pants.
Oh, did you spill it again?
No, just this is from before. I just need everyone to see.
Oh my gosh. We're having a ball over here, guys.
It's February.
It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
This is how we spend Valentine's Day. Galentine's.
Galentine's.
Yeah.
When was yesterday?
Huh?
Galentine's is the day before.
Is it? Oh, I didn't know that. My bad. So I am partway through a row, which is annoying because
Yeah, it's hard to
I
show.
won't be able to show it as well. But this is the Robinson wrap so far. Actually, it probably shows it quite nicely because you can see there. So
Beautiful.
basically, all I'm doing now is just row by row, and at the end, the start and the end of each knit row, I increase one.
Yeah.
And I think I've only got about 6 more rows to do, which is 3 more sets of increase. And then I am going to do the sleeves because, I need some just stockinette in the round. And then I change to smaller needles and I can do the body. I can do the ribbing, which the ribbing is, I reckon it's about 15 centimetres, which is like 6 inches worth of body.
Yeah.
Not body, sorry, of ribbing. And then I do the tie and then a double knit body band, button band. It's not a button band though because there's no buttons because it's a wrap. So just band. So I am getting there, and I do kind of like this. It's quite a nice yarn to work with.
What's our countdown? Like there's a time that you want to finish it by. What are we doing?
I do want to finish it before I go away to Japan, but I don't know if that's going to happen. No. I've got like 9, 10, 11.
Oh,
10,
you're
no.
fine.
How many weeks till the end of term? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 8, 9 weeks.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
You're fine. You're fine.
I started this in like November.
Yeah, but it will start zooming.
I am just, hang on, pause. I'm just going to take this off. Sorry, I got too hot. Had to take my jumper off. Yeah, so I don't think my stitches have been very even.
No, great self-reflection. I think some of that's the yarn because I
Okay.
found the same with my matcha.
Okay.
I didn't find like it was a very forgiving yarn and I
Yeah.
had some really like uneven patches and yeah.
Yeah. I look at it and I'm like, ooh, that's not
And
great tension.
the added difficulty for that is that you are purling every second row and so your tension changes when you purl.
Yeah.
So those two things combined would be...
Yeah. I've never hated purling. I actually quite like it. I find it quite satisfying when I do it for small amounts of time, like when I'm doing German short rows or just doing the top part of a, what's it called?
Before you split your sleeves, like a regular English.
No, because even that's round. The
Cardigan?
drop shoulder. When you do
That
a
one.
drop shoulder jumper and you knit flat for the top before you join. Yeah, before you join for sleeves. Anyway, so I don't mind a little bit of purling, but I think I've just got too much of it on the go at the moment.
And it's a long row of purling. Like
Oh my goodness, it's like 300 stitches. But it is going to be really nice. I actually like the feel of the yarn. I think it's going to be perfect for the cherry blossom in Japan. So I am really excited.
Yeah.
So I need to just remember that.
Finished or not finished, I just want you to wear it. Even if it's still on like a needle cable.
Look, if I have to wear it while I'm on the plane, knit it, while I'm on the plane, I will. I have got wooden needles for that one.
Cool.
So that's my first whip.
That's it.
Your turn.
My turn. Okay. As I said, so Book Club Pullover by Sari Nordlund. I've been using Bendigo Woolen Mills Wallaby in the blue gum colour in an 8-ply, and I've been using their Lilt Mohair in marine and holding it double. I didn't think I'd made that much progress, and then I was messaging Sarah the other night going, oh, I've only got 2 centimetres left till I can start on the ribbing. So this is how it's looking so far. Obviously I haven't done the sleeves yet and I still have to go back and do the collar. I think I can pretty much start the ribbing now. Here is my dilemma. I am mid-cable. Like, do I need to wait before I come back to a point of the cable, or can I just finish?
I would wait until you come
Then
to
it's going to be really long.
Oh.
So I think my row gauge is probably
But
slightly different than
remember,
hers.
if you do the collar, it might pull it up.
It might. So
Could you take the...
as annoyingly, I think I'm going to have to like leave it there,
I don't think
go
it'd
and
be
do the
terrible
collar,
if you...
and then come back and decide.
Yeah, and I don't think it would be terrible if you did do it there, to be perfectly honest
Like
with
it's
you.
just at the start.
It's not like an awkward...
Oh, where are we? Yeah. So I would start the ribbing kind of at the end of this one.
Yeah.
I would probably do one more cable row so that like this isn't obscenely long.
Yeah.
And then start the ribbing, which I think is just a knit one, purl one all the way around.
I don't think it'd be terrible if you did do it there.
But it just
I mean,
means
if you
that,
can.
like- Well, yeah, because otherwise it's a massive repeat because it's kind of like I've just done the point section.
I wouldn't do the whole thing.
Yeah, I know.
I would just do to like the
halfway?
just before the widest point or something.
Yeah. So I would probably go to that, but maybe I need to do the collar.
Yeah. That's my advice. Do the collar first.
Don't want to.
No ribbing. Is that
No,
why?
I just kind of want the body done.
Oh.
And I don't.
But the collar won't take long.
As much as I love jumpers like this, I really don't like picking up stitches. And so the fact that I need to pick up stitches for the collar and both sleeves, I'm like, throw it in a basket and don't look at it is kind of my current mood. But I won't do that because I do want to finish it. So
It's upsetting. Knowing that you don't like picking up sleeves is a really good reflection because maybe moving forward
I like
you'll
being
look
able to
at
split for sleeves.
pattern and decide, oh, actually, no, I don't want to do. Or at least one that's the, no, because the collar, drop shoulders.
Or know that once I've like joined in the round, I should go back fairly quickly and pick up sleeves so it's there. Like do the hard work earlier on so that it's all there and ready.
And then you don't have to.
Because that's what I appreciate with like a one like this. Like you do the bottom, body's done, and then like, oh, the sleeves are already like ready to go. I don't need to work out the pickup ratio. Like it's all on cables ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm just picking a couple up underneath the arm.
Yeah.
So maybe I just need to do the hard work early on. So I'm like, oh, the sleeves are done and ready to go.
Yeah.
But yes.
Do you have tubing that you put your stitches on hold, or do you just use waste scrap yarn?
Nope. I just leave them on the cables.
Oh, okay.
Normally I'll put my stoppers on and I'll just try it on.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
Mind you, I haven't tried this
clever.
on, so.
That would make it so much easier to come back to.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not about like...
Yeah, because I put them on tubing.
Yes,
and then I
you can
stab
just...
the needle into it,
That's
like
smart.
this here. And then I just stab the needle into it and can gently pull it out. Sometimes I've pulled it and it's popped off the needle, and then I have to pick the stitches back
I didn't
up.
realise that you could do that with that stuff. I think you told me. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I have some if you want to try it.
It's working at the moment.
I like what you have, yeah.
Otherwise, sometimes I'll just, if I need longer, I'll just use one of the little joiny things.
I think my problem is because I have so many projects on the go all the time. I need all of my cables. I don't have enough cables.
Well, you laughed at me when I literally didn't order, and I ordered like every single size cable. And you're like, when are you ever going to need one that's... I've used it.
I did not laugh at you.
You did question why I bought a 150 centimetre cable.
I did do that.
And
what did you use that for?
my book club cardigan button band.
The button band. True.
Genius.
That. Maybe that's what I need one for.
You can borrow mine if you need.
Thank you.
I'll see if I can find it. That is my whip.
Your one and only.
My one and only.
That's made progress.
Yeah.
Well, my next whip, it's the last whip that I'm going to talk about. So full disclosure, I have done about 4 more rows of the Arctic Light. Not enough to show you progress. Yeah. I am actually quite enjoying that now. Now that I've figured out the pattern.
And we said this last time, once you do join for the body, you're only going between one chart, really.
So I used to only be able to do like max 1 to 2 rows, rounds rather, whereas now I did 4, and the only reason that I stopped was because I think it was dinner time and we had to like go to dinner. Yeah. Okay, so yes, I have got that. I haven't touched my socks, even though they are still technically active whips, but they're not active. They're not active. So my next and my last whip that I am here to talk about today is my Camisole No. 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear.
I haven't seen an update for this
that I am knitting in the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colour Putty. I think the reason that I rarely pick this up is because this is like what I get, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so hard to like figure out.
I'm stressed for you.
And like even like see how it just tangles. It just tangles. But I think last time that I showed you, I was still working on the front. I was still doing the increases for the front, like so. I have since picked up stitches on the shoulder. Now, the difference between the front and the back is you basically only knit like 4 or 5 rows of this tiny little itty bitty thing, and then you pick up a bunch of stitches. So I'm knitting however many back and forth, however many centimeters, then I do a few increases for the underarms, and then I will be joining in the round. And it'll be smooth sailing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Now, in our, might have been our last episode, might have been 1 or 2 before that, you said that you weren't picking this one up because it had a couple of techniques that you weren't confident in.
Yeah.
What are the techniques?
It's for when I finish. So you pick up stitches around the armhole and the neck, inside out.
Okay.
You knit them and then you fold them down, and then you have to like sew them down with a particular technique so that it almost looks like a braid.
Yep.
And I'm a bit nervous to get to that point, so I'm not rushing this one. But I do, like when I pick it up, I do really like it. I really like how the silk is knitting up. Like I said in the last one, it is a little rougher than I thought silk would be. Someone did comment and say that she loves this yarn and it's perfect for an Australian summer, and when it gets washed, it softens a lot nicer. So I'm really looking forward to that. But I do enjoy it. I think 4-ply, like fingering weight yarn on 2.5mm needles is a lot. But also at the same time, like it feels fine and dainty, and I actually really like how delicate this fabric is knitting
It's
up.
making a great fabric.
So when I finish the Robinson wrap, I think my issue is I know that I'm never going to finish this in time for summer.
Yeah.
And like to wear it. And so I'm like, there's not that much point then.
You've got another like 8 months really before you have to finish it.
Yeah, and so the Robinson wrap I do need sooner.
Yep.
But this is still my first ball.
Yeah, great.
I've still got 2 more. So yeah, it's tracking along. It is going to be beautiful, and I am really excited for it. And it is an easy pattern to follow. I am nervous about how to do.
Okay.
But I don't think it'll be like too hard.
Yeah.
I think it's just that thing in my head where it's just like daunting, and so therefore it goes in the too hard basket. Yeah, do I have anything else I need to say about this one? Do you have any questions? Any questions, comments
that was
from
my
the
question.
audience? No? Okay, cool. I don't know. It's just, it is very tiny. That scares me as well, but you know, whatever.
It's negative ease.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I did want to talk and ask the brain trust of our audience. I really struggle with measuring, like, when you choose a pattern size, you choose based on your bust. I feel like the size of the like widest point around my bust is too big compared to my shoulders and my stomach.
Oh, yeah.
And I find so many of my jumpers turn out with ridiculous amounts of positive ease, and like they're quite wide on the shoulders, and I just don't feel good in them.
Yeah.
Where should I be measuring my bust, guys? Should I do like upper bust? Should I just measure my normal bust and just drop a few centimeters, or maybe go less positive ease?
It's just the downsize of like your bust not being in proportion to the rest of your body.
I don't feel disproportionate.
No, I know, but like, or you have to be okay with it being tighter in that area.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
that you
I could
get the
just
right ease in the
downsize
arm.
though.
I would just downsize.
But then I do feel like my arms wouldn't fit as small. Oh, I guess I don't know. Maybe they will.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Try this on after and see.
Yeah. What size was that?
Second.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think you just have to be okay with it being like, you can't have it loose all over.
Yes. I'm just really, I've got a knit coming up, which I am going to talk about, and I'm really debating the sizing because I don't know that I bought enough yarn for my normal size, but then I'm like, I don't know that I want to knit my normal size.
Yeah.
Because for this jumper, I've spent a good amount of money on the yarn.
Yeah.
I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's what my book club pullover will turn out like. That's going to be quite loose and baggy all over.
Yep.
And that's only the size 2. So.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for hearing my...
But other people out there might have another nicer opinion than me, just being like, deal with it.
Sometimes we need the hard realities.
You've got to start looking into like shaping it, like darts and
learning how to do bust darts.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. That would be a technique I wouldn't mind learning, but not the afterthought bust
putting
darts.
some decreases in the body, which generally we don't do.
Yeah.
Because if you were to think about like a sewing pattern.
But it's also that it's quite big up around here often.
Yeah. Because the shoulders.
Yeah. But maybe. I don't know. Maybe I just have it a little tighter.
Yeah.
Around the chestal
region.
Anyway, please let me know if your opinion is different to Kendall's. If you've got any tips and tricks. I really like the goal of refining my size and my fit and what I like is still very much active this year. So, and that was my goal. Like at the end of the day, my goal is to figure out what I liked, and I guess that includes knitting styles. Yeah. Oh, full circle.
What I've also appreciated about patterns that have put in like more measurements than just like bust and hip and waist. Like I reckon it was the matcher. The schematics for that were really comprehensive. I was like, oh, that's what it's saying. It'll fit here and here and here. I'm like, yeah.
Meanwhile, I always just look at the bust and go, okay, cool. And that's probably where I'm going wrong.
But if you were looking at a sewing pattern, You look at all the bits.
Yeah, except that I'm over like 3 different sizes in sewing patterns, and I'm like, oh, seriously, dude. When it's like a dress,
Yes.
I'm like, how are my 3 separate sizes? Okay, that is my second and last
whips.
whip.
Yeah.
And your whips are done.
Whips are done.
It's not really a whip, but
It's not a whip. This would be called a new cast-on. Except I haven't cast on, I've just done the gauge swatch. This is for the Frederic sweater by Kolibri by Johanna. And I gauge swatched.
Woohoo.
And I blocked
Can I
my
have a
gauge
look?
swatch.
This is the softest
It's
mohair
so
I've ever...
soft.
Is it mohair
So
or
this is
Sari
mohair. This
alpaca?
is Woolen Works mohair in the Rufus, which is what I made. It's the same colourway I made the socks in, but this is the mohair. So I ordered it a while back now. And I have just wanted, I was like, I could hold it with a merino, like I could hold it with a plain white and it would feel a bit like birthday cake or confetti, which was an option for a while. And then I found the Frederic sweater, but it was only available in a book. And I was like, that's very annoying. And then she's released it as a solo pattern.
Oh,
so I could just buy the solo pattern.
Yay.
And I was just like stalking her Instagram and Ravelry waiting for it to drop. And so then it did. Held single.
Yeah.
So your gallant mohair is held double.
Yes.
This one is held single. So it's quite airy, quite gappy. Gapey?
But I feel like that's a thing. And can I just...
Like the wool is really fun.
I have never felt a mohair that is as soft as that. Like
know.
it feels more like that Sari alpaca kind of style.
And I mean, I should look up what the content is,
Like,
but
I feel like I could wear that.
yeah.
I'm
that's
not
washed.
overly sensitive.
That's washed just with water.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
That is still so nice.
yeah.
So I feel like just like a tank top underneath this.
Be fun.
As like an autumn.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying to you
Summer, autumn, like
in the messages. Like it will be a perfect autumn fit. Just chuck it on over a tank top, bit of a drop shoulder going on. I don't know what the pattern's like. I've seen it. I can't
Slightly inspired by Ali Makes Everything.
remember.
Because
Okay.
she did one that was in quite a colourful mohair, but it had more shaping in it than I wanted to do. So I can't, I think that's the cloud sweater?
Oh, by Petite Knit?
No, or the cloud blouse. I'll have to look and put it here. But that one like has some like almost like a peplum here. And
I
so
don't
you
know
can
what a
make it
peplum
longer.
is.
Oh.
What's a peplum?
Where it like frills back out.
Oh.
And so you could make it longer and make it into a dress. But it just wasn't quite what I wanted. I just wanted like a throw-on sweater. So that's what this will be. And then I think it has a slight balloon sleeve. We might be playing a little bit of yarn chicken, but we'll see.
That's why I'm surprised you've cut that swatch.
I will use this if I need to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just that it was hard to tell if I was hitting gauge or not quite. And so I wet blocked it and I'm hitting gauge.
Well, while we're in this section of like new cast-ons or near new cast-ons, shall we say, I tried unsuccessfully to cast on 2 different jumpers for Dave, my husband. So
Here come the opinions. Can't wait.
Oh, no, this isn't the opinions.
Oh, no.
The opinions more around the sweetheart
Okay.
and just like wanting to knit. My issue, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel, the opinions of myself. I feel very frustrated with my gauge swatching. Like I feel like my swatches never match my product. So like I went back and so remember when I knit the Simple Things, my gauge swatch consistently was around 16, 17 centimetres. And then so that's why I went down to the 4mm needles and I think I got 18, 19, 18. And that's why I went down to the small and then was fine with the extra small. I've just done a little swatch of that now that it's completely finished and I actually got 20 stitches.
Oh.
And so I just feel like, what's the point in swatching when it never works?
Yeah.
I've tried for this. So let me go back. I'm knitting
This is the 3 Swords sweater that you were mentioning before.
Yes. So I'm knitting this one for my husband. Did I get that in?
Yeah.
Good. I'm knitting this one for my husband. I got Bendigo Woolen Mills. I had to cake it up. Bounce,
Yes.
which is like a blown tweedy kind of yarn. And it matches, so the yarn used in all of these patterns is not a yarn that I can get in Australia. I don't even know where I can order it online, if I'm honest. I've looked. Everything about the yarn used for this jumper matches this one perfectly. I did a swatch and I thought it was fine, and then I cast it on. I went down, I had to go down a needle size. So I cast it on, I did the whole ribbing, and I did about 2 inches, 5 centimeters of the body, and I got my husband to try it on. It was like out here, and I mean,
there's positive ease, and then there's positive ease.
And he doesn't want a massive amount of positive ease. I feel like a really oversized jumper is fine for us, but he doesn't, like, I don't know, men tend to look a little better with slightly more form-fitting, or at least he does. And so I unraveled it all, and what did happen? I cast it on and then I recast it on with like 2 needle sizes down. Checked a million times that I did not twist the stitches, and then as I was doing it, made sure I didn't twist those stitches. Got halfway through the ribbing and the stitches were twisted. I don't even know how. I tried so hard. So I rage quit. I caked it back up so that
it's ready to go.
It's ready to go again, and I will try it again. I've just got to. I think when I had to go down 2 needle sizes, I couldn't use my metal Chiago needles anymore. I had to use my Lantern Moons, and the cable was a bit more wobbly, whereas the Chiago just lays straight.
Yep.
And so I think that is what added to the twisting.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I might cast them on a shorter.
Yeah.
And then once I've joined it, I might knit it onto a longer.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
There's a couple of reasons I don't love bottom up. One is that it's really hard to see how it's fitting and add shaping and stuff because you're too far by the time you have to do something.
Yeah.
The other one is you are just casting on so many
Well,
stitches.
it's actually not that bad because,
because
it is a chunky
Okay.
yarn. Like, this is considered a 12 ply. But I tried looking to see whether or not I could go top down, and the way that the increases or the decreases in this case, I wouldn't, they're just using a knit 2 together decrease for everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, and it's kind of sporadic, and I was like, so it won't have nice, beautiful.
No. You'd be rewriting the whole pattern.
Yeah, it was just all a bit too much for me. So I am going to try it because I really liked knitting with this. And once I hit the stockinette part, it was beautiful. So I do really want to do it again. I just think I might wait till I finish the Robinson wrap and I have my Chiago needles. So it's supposed to be 5 millimeters for the needles for the hem and 6 millimeters for the body. I'm going to be doing it on 4 millimeters for the hem and 5 millimeters for the body.
Yeah.
Both those needles are in use on the Chiago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
which I didn't say. I think I was down a millimeter in both in this.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my failed attempt at casting that on. And then my other failed attempt, I was like, okay, well then let me try the petite knit zipper man. I was going to use this.
Yes.
Dave looked at it again and was like, oh no, I don't think I like that yarn. But then he looked at it under light and he was like, oh no, I really like that yarn. So it was, I don't know. He put the torch on it and he was like, no, I do. I don't like working with this. It feels gross.
I can see what you mean.
Yeah, it's a really rustic, rough kind of yarn. I don't like working with it, and I could
Can I tell you my thoughts?
Yep.
It feels like a cheap acrylic.
Yes. Yes. I have 16 balls of this.
Is it superwash?
Yeah.
It's very superwashy.
Yeah. And I'm debating selling it.
Sell it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll sell it.
I'm holding it and I'm like...
Yeah. Working with it is gross, but not only that, I could not meet gauge. And
like,
so,
I know this is green, but this is not a green flag.
With this one, no, it's not a green, it's a red flag. It's
a red flag.
It is gross. It feels so yucky to work with.
Oh, no, like
and even knitting it is even worse than just holding it in your hand.
It feels like Velcro.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, that's okay. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. When I swatched for this one, I actually tried to do the swatching in the round technique, which is where like you knit.
Oh, I hate that technique.
And then you slide it over to the other needles and hold a length and then knit. I did find that was a lot more accurate than...
Yeah, but it's so annoying.
It is annoying, but I want it accurate.
I know.
But I couldn't get gauge for either the chunky one or the light one. Yeah, okay. So there's Zipper Man regular, and then there's the Zipper Man light.
I actually kind of just want to go bleh while I'm holding it. Like, it is not...
I was looking at your face going, what's wrong?
It's this.
Yeah, here, hold this one. Hold this one.
Oh.
Okay. Anyone wants 16...
I mean, we haven't sold it well, have we?
50 gram balls of charisma. Well, the thing is, my Salty Days is knitting this. Held with the mohair, though. And I love wearing that.
You didn't know. You didn't know at the time how good it could be.
I did. Yeah, maybe I didn't. No, I did know. No, maybe I didn't. No, I don't think the pink one was as gross as this.
All of the balls?
Yeah, all of them are like this. All right. It is a sensory nightmare.
It is.
And I think that's partly why. And then I looked at the actual pattern itself.
Ooh.
Like, I haven't bought it yet because I haven't decided which one. I want to do the swatch of the yarn that I buy.
Okay. So,
but the zipper uses a provisional cast on, and now I'm like, I don't want to do it. But it's my year of learning new techniques.
No, provisional cast on's okay. It's a bit fun. You get to
No, I don't think it's the provision. I think it's the Judy's Magic. Sorry.
Do you get to chop it off at the end?
I don't know.
Oh, that was fun.
Well, you cast it onto 2 needles, and then one stays on one needle, and the rest stays on the other. And then you like knit on one needle only. And I was like, I don't have. So it went in my bag, which I have to show you this.
You have to show the bag.
I talked about last chapter how I won Lovely Day Knits. Knit along prize. This is the bag that I got. It is actually one of the best.
It's huge.
It is so big.
Yeah.
And it is one of the best knitting bags. It fits my jumper in there so nicely. Yeah. It's going to be the one that I hold Dave's project in because you need a big bag for that. I love it. And I also got all these things. I got these little cat stitch markers. Cute. And some earrings. And 6 of these really gorgeous little buttons. But I might take photos and show you. So that was my prize, and it was so amazing. And so it's going to sit. This has been the naughty corner bag, and all of Dave's project stuff has just been sitting in the naughty corner.
No, reclaim the naughty corner bag. It's too pretty to be a naughty corner bag.
No. Well, it's going to be Dave's project bag.
Yeah.
Like, as in his project will be in there. So Dave's project's in the naughty
corner. It's not going well
corner.
at the moment.
It's just not. But we'll see. Anyway, so that's where I'm at in life.
That's your cast-ons?
Yeah. Cast-ons that didn't work.
Acquisitions?
Kendall?
None.
She's been really good.
Really good. Wow.
I have been really good.
Yeah.
Except I did buy something. I was only going to buy yarn around when I was ready to use it. So the particular yarn that I did buy for this project, the store has had it out of stock for ages, and it came back in stock, and I was just like, I'm not ready to cast this on yet, but I know that I'm going to be using it. So I bought it.
And what store?
I got the Knitting for Olive. I did a Knitting for Olive order. So I got the Knitting for Olive Merino, which is their 4-ply fingering weight merino, and the Knitting for Olive Kid Silk. And I got this in the colour Bordeaux. They're both Bordeaux.
Oh, that's going to look so good.
And this one, I believe, is Cloud. This one's called Cloud. So this is going to be the Harriet sweater by Lynette. Now, I know that there's supposed to be a 3rd colour in there, but I've just decided that I want these 2. So all of the contrast will be this. And
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
A lot of people use
obsessed.
low contrast for the 2 contrasting colours anyway. So most of the photos I didn't even realise you were supposed to get 2. I might be playing a little bit of Yarn Chicken. I did use, there's a French YouTube vlogger girl, Nestled in Knits. And she actually, I did not copy her. I had already had this planned. I'd had this yarn on like a wait list. So when it's out of stock, you can notify me when it comes in stock. So I had this on there long before she did hers, but she knit hers in exactly this. And so then when it came time to me buying it, I was like, do you know what?
Good confirmation.
She knit the size I'm going to knit. I'm going to buy how much she bought, but then I realised that she was way off gauge. And so hers came up a lot smaller than mine will. But I'm like, that's okay. And it does come with like 40 centimetres of positive ease. So I'm actually thinking of knitting the extra small rather than the small medium. But that's my acquisition. I
love it.
I got a whole chunk of it and I'm so excited to cast this on, like unbelievably excited to cast this on, but I need to finish the Robinson wrap first. So I'm being very, very disciplined and I'm not doing it. But that was my only acquisition.
It's beautiful. That will look amazing. I did see Matilda's version.
I know. I'm so excited. And I do think that this colour will really suit me.
Yep. And I am
very
on the
similar to this
lookout.
one.
It is very similar to that one. I am on the lookout for a like natural cream OT coloured, so the cloud could be an option.
Yes.
But I think I want something with a bit more texture.
Okay, yep.
A bit more rustic, but not rustic.
Yeah.
I'm not talking charisma. Just like
We're not ever talking charisma.
a bit more,
ever
probably
again.
a bit more tweed. You know, like a, yeah.
Speaking of tweed, you could buy any yarn and make it tweed.
I could. Gosh, that's tempting, isn't it?
There's
Make
this,
it tweedy.
Yeah, there's yarn called Make It Tweed. You can make anything tweed.
Nips.
Yeah, with the nips. Anyway.
Well, I think that's it.
Yes.
Chapter 13.
Thank you so much
Done.
for tuning in.
Thank you.
Please excuse our disjointed rambling thoughts for today. All right, my friends. Please let us know what you are working on in the comments. And please, if you have any thoughts or opinions on any of my thoughts or opinions, let me know. Am I crazy? Are you in a knitting slump? Is it just that it's hot summer?
Look, that plays into it.
Yeah,
I don't have any summer knits that I'm working on. Like
Yeah.
the motivation is low, and February is just very busy.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
I had a summer knit, but it was too hot on some days to even pick that up.
Yeah.
So maybe
it's an
that's
issue.
hot.
Well, this is it.
Thanks,
The end.
guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.